What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Marvel's Midnight Suns one more time before, well, not only the game comes out, but review scores come out. Now, I'm recording this a bit early, and I don't even actually know when you guys will see it, but I have seen that the review embargo should lift on November 30th. So we're talking 2 days before Midnight Suns comes out. The review scores will come out. Now, I want to start there because since the last time we've talked about this and the Why I'm Getting It series that I do on the channel, we actually had the previews, right? So the people that got it early, they were able to do videos. So we do know a bit more about the game. We've seen more of the game since the last time we talked, but the review scores go online 2 days before. Now, is that a negative? I'm going to say the same thing because for some reason, all the games in the last 2 months want to copy each other. So I'm going to say the same thing I've probably said before if you watch all of my videos. And it's that for whatever reason, and since I would say October, with the beginning of October through now, so many games, the review scores are coming out a day before, the day of, 2 days before, every game. The only game I can think of is God of War. I think COD maybe was a few days before, but maybe it was only 2 or so, right? But God of War is really the only one that I can think of right now that it released a week before, right? The review scores released a week. So yes, while I would say back in the day, if a game's review scores lifted the day before the game came out, normally that was a really bad sign, right? That was an awful sign that the game is going to get destroyed, and they were hiding the reviews, right? They wanted the reviews to come up in the last second. But since then, it's become more and more common. Plague Tale Requiem, which is one of my favorite games of the year, reviews came out the day before. The Devil in Me, which I don't think is a good game, but other people did like it, those reviews went out the day the game released, on the Friday. So for whatever reason, I guess we're done with, review scores coming out a week before the game launches. It's about a day, 2 days, 3 days, somewhere in that range. So I don't look at that as any major, and I wanted to start there, right? Because you may say, well, where's the reviews? And, oh man, it comes out 2 days before. Well, maybe the reviews are going to suck. They absolutely could, but they could also be really good because it seems like game companies just want the reviews to come out really close to when the game, launches. Maybe it's because of spoilers or, other things like that. So we have that. That doesn't really scare me. What we have seen since the last time we talked, honestly, I'm kind of more excited. Now, I would say we kind of learned of a bigger split, and so to explain that, it does seem like if you've liked how the combat has looked so far, and I get it, this game is not made for everybody. There are plenty of people that do not like this game, and that is totally, totally cool. I have always been a fan of how the game looked from the combat side of things, so I've always, been on that side. And if you were on that side, I think the previews that we saw a few weeks back, maybe it was a week and a half ago from when you guys see this video, are pretty good. Pretty darn good. The combat looks fantastic. People have some really nice things to say about the combat. It honestly seems to be the major, thing in this game, which it kind of, you look at it, and I guess besides the Marvel angle, and, you have, of course, when you can talk to them and grow the relationships, which I'm going to get to, besides those things, the combat, was the bread and butter of this game, and it looks really good. Now, the opposite side of things, it does also seem like largely, not everybody, but largely, the rest of it is not so good. Visually, not so good. The voice acting, and I heard the voice acting, I will agree with that, not so good. Even from, again, the angle of how you can hang out with them, right? You talk to them and you kind of grow your relationship with the members, and then if you take them on missions with you, you can improve their stats or their attacks and stuff like that. And that's a really cool mechanic. I like that a lot. I feel like from what I've seen, it's implemented well. It's just that it's not fun, or all the characters are exactly the same, or they're boring, or again, they're not well voice acted. There's a problem with the interaction between you as a main character and the Midnight Suns, the group, right? So that's kind of where we're at. Now, again, to be honest with you, it doesn't, now I know that, well, no, as in, I saw other people say it. Maybe it works for me. Again, from what I saw, the voice acting does seem to be pretty, some of it's actually really good, some of it's not. So we'll see how it all works, when the game releases. But again, here's the thing. When it comes to this game, and it's kind of I'm trying to think because there's other recent examples. I guess Evil West maybe is a recent example. I was going into the reviews of Evil West. I know these are previews, not reviews, but I was going in saying I have kind of isolated in my head the good of this game. Like, I can kind of locate what is the main strengths of this game and what are the weaknesses, and do I care about the weaknesses? And I kind of knew that going in. And then when I saw the reviews for Evil West, I was thinking that's exactly what I kind of thought the game was going to be. So I wasn't disappointed that Evil West was getting 7s, you know, on Metacritic or whatever. I was like, well, the best parts of the game are the best parts, and that's what I actually wanted, so I'm good. And that's kind of the same mentality I'm bringing to Midnight Suns. Going into the previews, and I'll be saying the same thing going into the reviews. Like, I'm looking for the combat. If it's a game that you can invest 50 hours, whatever it is, you can play it multiple times, it encourages that, whatever, and it's just a blast to fight. You know, the strategy elements, it's all so good. If that's what we hear, that's fine. That's actually what I thought. The rest of it, I really didn't care about. I never cared about, you know, interacting with. I mean, yeah, I'll do it. And in fact, from what I heard, you have to do it because it really improves your chances of winning fights. So you're gonna have to do the parts that maybe aren't so good in the game. But I kind of knew that going in, right? So that's the thing, right? That's the thing with the reviews, is almost cherry picking, right? Where I don't care about the score. The game could get 6s for all I care. It's more about, number one, what's said, and then also, I guess, what specifically, like, I'm gonna pick parts of what's said to make my decision. But that's just me. That's where I'm at. I always looked at this game as, and I've said this before, comes out the same day as Callisto Protocol. I am factually more excited for Callisto. That's just the way it is. I'm probably going to play Callisto Protocol first. All of those things are true. So with that being said, if this is a game that you can kind of pop in, play it a couple hours, pop out, go in the next day, skip a couple days, whatever, the combat is good, you'll get back into it. It's got a hook that makes you want to play it. These are all really the only things I care to hear. You know, I mean, anything else doesn't really matter to me. So I'm looking forward to it. I know some of this video was spent kind of talking about some weaknesses, but I think I'm overall, especially after seeing the preview event, I'm almost more excited, I would say, because the average or below average parts I never really focused on in the first place, right? And the good parts I was hoping were good, and then, you know, seemingly they are. So we'll see how the game does in terms of reviews, but I'm getting it day one. I always was getting it day one, and I'll probably play it like day 2 or 3 because of Callisto Protocol, but I'm excited, and we're so close, and I've said this before, like, we end the year pretty big with this, with Callisto, Need for Speed for those fans as well, and then a few weeks later we get Crisis Core, and so pretty big December, bigger than most Decembers, I would say, historically. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. I will be covering Midnight Suns when I get it. I'll be making videos of my own, so hope to see you guys there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.